Okay, so are we still here? Is there anybody we need to confirm his or her work? Okay, let's proceed. I believe let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Hope you guys can hear me, please. Let me confirm my audio before I proceed.
Yes.
All right, so let's quickly continue with the class. Thank you very much, guys, for that quick response. All right, now we are still on the topic. We have an agenda. The agenda is why we created this is that all our insights will be outputted here. And the first question is, we want to count how many headers are in this data structure given to us to analyze. So the first thing is to create my analysis table. So the first one I'm going to say, question 1. This is how your insight should be descriptive. That is, you describe whatever you are doing per time. So let's say Q1 or task 1 is I want to merge the whole of this. So this is an opportunity for us to learn some of these functions in a cell. Now, we want to merge this cell, and this cell together. Why? Because I want to write a very long text that I don't want it to expand this column like this. So that is the reason why I want to merge. So I will simply highlight the numbers of or the range of cells I want to merge. Then I will go back to my home tab. So from the home tab, you come to alignment section. From here, you should be able to see merge as center, which means that when you impute any value here, it's going to centralize it. So two things you are performing at the same time. That is what? Merge those cells and centralize whatever write-up that will come on them. You can also use merge across and merge cell. Now, if you merge cell, it's going to merge, but it will not guarantee you of the alignment. So you may have to come here and begin to do your alignment manually. So that is why most time we use this. So you can see that what all the cells within the area I selected have been merged. So now I can type the question. What is the question? How many labels? So I want to use our professional terms. So what we know as headers, they are called what? Labels or features in this field. These are the professional terms for referring to what? Those column attributes. Now, formatting is also very important. I'll click here and bold this and give the whole of that a color, and then here a darker color, let's say something like this, that is not contradicting other colors you have used. So you have to be mindful of that. So I will just bold it, increase the size if I want, just to make it visible. So I leave that. So the result will be outputted here. How many labels or features are in the data frame? It's a question you have to answer as a data analyst. So now I have to extend this. So which means that there is need for me to increase the merge cell, or I reduce the size of the values here. So just to increase it, I'll just select merge and then click again. Now I have expanded what? The merging. Now the output, the result of my analysis will be here or calculated here. That here we are bringing a cell function. Remember what I mentioned here under the basic set of function or techniques. We have sum, we have count, we have average, we have count blank. Right now, I want to use this one based on the task before me, because the question says I should count, so I can't use sum. So the count function is an Excel basic statistical function, which is used to analyze the numbers of times a variable or a value appears in either a column or in a row. So that is the simple definition of count. And we are to use this where there is no condition. Condition, you can see these ones that carry if. When we get there, we are going, these are conditional function. But all this set does not require condition. The condition is the selection. When we get there, you understand why I'm not recognizing them as conditional Excel statistical function. So I'm going to use count. So going back to my Excel, I will write the function. In the previous class, I told us that when you want to deploy functions in Excel, there are rules. And one of it is that you must start with what? Equal sign. That is what informs Excel that what comes after it is a formula that is expected to translate to a result. So the function is count. So once I have observed the principle, I will type the count. And then once I type CON, it will drop out the function saved in Excel library with what? This keyword. So it is now left for me to know which one exactly do I want to use. You can see that we have count. We have count A. Now, count is used when you are counting number range that contain numbers. Now, if I place here, count A means count any type of data. Count any type of data. I mentioned it in the last class that in programming, we have what we call data types. And these data types have different rules that the language use in handling them. And if you violate the rules, there might be what? Error. So when you are dealing with numbers, you use what? When you want to count number, you use count. So I want to ask us now, look at what the question says. We are going to be counting region. We are going to count country. And then I ask you, at this number or test, can one person answer me? What
they are text.
Test.
Good. They are text. Now, since they are text, now I will ask you again. Equals to count. Which of these count do you think I'm going to use? Is it this one or this?
Count A, sir.
Count what?
A.
Good. Because you are counting strings. You are counting tests. So you double click on it to complete the function. Now, there is what we call function syntax. In programming, because we are going to learn Python, in programming, they will call syntax. Syntax are a set of rules that governs the mode of running of that particular program, the mode of writing it, the format of writing it. It is called what? Syntax. That is why when you claim you are a Python programmer, it means you understand how to write Python syntax. When you say you are a C++ programmer, it means that you know how to write what? C++ syntax. So in programming, we don't joke with syntax, because once you get the format, which is the syntax, in a layman thing, wrong, then you are bound to what? To supply wrong data. So what is the syntax here? I want you to understand it. The syntax here is that value 1, command, value 2, command, value 3, command, value 4, and so on, which simply means you are to define range stating the starting point down towards the end point. That is what this syntax is telling you, that this function is used for counting range of what? Strings or number. This can count both text and number because you said it is count any type of data, unlike the count that can only count integer-based data or number type data. So now I am going to reference the range. Where do you have the values you want this function to count for you? This is intersheet referencing. The logic I want to use now, it is called Excel intersheet referencing, which means that your arguments are not in one sheet. In the previous class, I explained what is argument. And I said arguments are the value you have in one cell and the value you have in another cell. So the arguments are not in this cell. And I want you to know that in every Excel sheet, we have A1. In every Excel sheet, we have D3. So how do you tell Microsoft Excel that I am referring to the value in A1 in Amazon sales data sheet? Because if I type A1 here, thinking that I am referencing this one, but there is A1 here, Excel will assume that what you are talking about the A1 in this particular sheet. So what we do is to call the name of the sheet, that is we call Amazon sales data. Then we will now pass in the argument in that sheet. So how do you capture that automatically? You simply switch by just clicking here. Then I want you to observe what will happen here automatically once I click here. Can you see what has happened? Once I click on the sheet, it automatically invoked the name or added the name of that sheet, which means that right now you are in the sheet named what? Amazon sheet. Now it's asking you to supply your range now that you are in this sheet. So how do you define your range? You select across the value. And what is the question? The question says we should start our counting from region down to what? Total profit. So what I'm going to do professionally, you click the starting point like this. The moment I click on the starting point, that has been updated in my formula constructs. Right now you are seeing what? A1, which means that what? Your active cell is in what? A column, and it can be traced to what? Row 1. Now, we are selecting range, that is what? From A1 to the last one. Now, what you simply do is to hold down the control button and the shift button on your keyboard and press the right arrow button like this. It will automatically select the whole values within that cell. And you see, Excel AI is very strong. It knows where the values stop. It can never select an empty column like this column 0. So it is sensitive enough with the help of the AI to know where you have value. So as soon as you hit, you press down the control button and the control button and the shift button and hit the right arrow button on your keyboard, it knows where to stop. Now, this is a mistake some persons will make. Now that you have specified your range, look at this here. This is where you can see the full interpretation. So which means that you can be in that sheet and write this manually without you coming here. It will synchronize it. Now let's interpret this, which means that what? You are calling values in range of cells between A1 to N1 in a sheet named Amazon says that is what you're saying. You don't need to close the bracket. Excel will close the bracket. Now, don't switch to the analysis sheet where you want to output the result before you press enter. Once you have called the argument, press enter. Excel knows where to output the result, where you enter the function before switching here to call this argument. Excel will display the result over there. So if I press enter now, you can see that what the answer is gotten. So which means that we have 14 headers. Now let's go there and count just to check whether Excel did the right thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I stop at what? Says challenge. So let me scroll to the next. Let me scroll. I forgot to the last number I counted. 10, right? Okay, 10, 11, 12, 13, which means that what? I counted 11 before. So you can see that it's very precise rather. So it's precise. So you can see that there was no error and we are able to what? To perform this. Any question, please? Any question? Any question? Because I am going to pause for 5 minutes and then for us to achieve what I just did now before I proceed. If you don't have any question, quickly start the class task now. What is the class task? Display the 14. That is what? Count. Just perform what I did now. Count all the header using the same logic. Your time starts now. So let me also unshare my screen and also stay on the. Let me start with Mr. Ifeanyi. Let me see on your screen quickly, performing that task quickly. Okay, so Ifeanyi has put it. Now, let's quickly go to Mrs. Onyinye. Quickly. Mr. Ifeanyi, please kindly share your screen. Mrs. Onyinye, Mercy, I'm coming back to you shortly. Mrs. Onyinye, please, let's be fast. We still want to perform some data wrangling.
I'm still doing it. Okay, I should be doing it while we are on.
Yeah, of course. I just want to see what you are doing. So, Mrs. Mercy, make sure you are Alfred. Mr. Alfred, I'll be coming on you, observing our own. Make sure you are doing it.
I don't even know what to pick. Okay, let me just pick any call and move on.
No, you have not completed the function. Please, let's take note of some of these minor things. There is no bracket open yet. Okay, sorry. I think it's the network. Just clear it again. I don't know whether you added bracket before.
I didn't add bracket though.
So
It
please,
came
you have
out
to
on its
add
own.
bracket. Once it drops it out, you have to double click on it so that you add bracket. Clear it and start again, please. Let me be sure that you have the bracket
Okay.
added. Please always make sure that you have the bracket added before you call in the input. Oh yeah,
Is
start
it now?
again. Okay, let's
Now
go.
that I have the bracket, or after picking count A?
Oh yeah, double click on it. Double click.
And the
Good.
bracket came out on its own.
Yes. So you have added the bracket. Now, once you can see value 1, value 2, it means that the bracket is active. Now, I have switched to your other
I
screen.
didn't add it, so it came out on its own.
Okay.
Huh?
So just continue. Okay. Perfect. Enter. Press enter. Perfect. Now, let me go to Mercy. I don't know if I've checked Mercy's own. Okay, Mr. Alfred. So share your screen now. Mrs. Onye, please, you can. Okay, thank you. Mr. Alfred, let me know how you are doing over there. Is he here at all? Mr. Alfred is out. Okay, while we are waiting for him to join back, Mrs. Mercy, please let's come on your screen. Quickly. Let's come on your screen. Mrs. Mercy, let's come on your screen. All right, you are coming up now.
Yeah, this is where I am, sir.
Oh yeah, equals to, were you having issue before?
No, sir.
You should have been waiting for us now. Okay, you were working. Okay, I thought whether you were stuck. Okay.
No, I was working.
Okay, oh yeah. Double click. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Now press enter from here. Mr. Alfred is back.
Yeah, I'm done, sir.
All right. So I'll share your screen. Mr. Alfred is not yet back. So let me just hear from, while I'm waiting for Mr. Alfred, let me hear from Mr. Innocent. Please, can you unmute? Hope you are following.
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. How is the class, sir? Hope you are following.
Yes.
Are you learning?
Yes, I am. I think I'll know better when I try to practicalize by tomorrow morning. Based on this recorded, the recorded version now, I'll use it to practicalize on my laptop. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Now, I just want to wait for. Okay, let's quickly continue. I hope he joined back. I would have loved if he's here. Somebody should drop a message in the group. Mr. Alfred, are you trying to join back? Let's know whether if he's having some issues so that we can whether to wait for him for a few minutes or to proceed. Miss Mercy, please help us reach out to him quickly.
All right, sir.
Please, I have a question.
Go ahead, ma.
Okay. Now that we've done this, if there are additional columns, will it update? Or
Of
do we
course.
need to do the
Okay, no.
right click
It
to
will
the
not
end of the column?
update. It will not update because your selection, let me quickly answer that. Let me share my screen. Okay, it's a very valid question. Thank you for that observation, ma. What she's saying is that peradventure tomorrow, they add additional column. Anytime you want to move a link button, just right click on it so that it will switch to selection mode. Now, let's say there is a new header here. What could I put here now? Let's say states whether it will update automatically here. Is that what you are asking?
Yes.
Now, what you would do is this formula that you use here, you have to expand the selection because you stop at N. So if you wanted to capture this, what you will have done, okay, let me just do it again. Let me take this from here. I appreciate this question. So let me just take it again just to create room for future updates. So this is what you should have done. Sorry. So this is how you would do it. Count. Double click here. Of course, switch to the data set. Select the first one. Hold down the Control and the Shift button. Press the right arrow button. There is an error here. What is happening? Let me take it again. I have error with my. Just hold on. So equals to count. Switch here. Select this. If my keyboard is malfunctioning, but what you have to do, let me select it manually, which I wanted to do with the shortcut. So you are supposed to select, when you press that Control Shift and press the right arrow button, it stops at profit. So you press it again so that you select everything to the end. So you are creating room for tomorrow entry. So if you press enter here, it will count 15. Then if by tomorrow they impute, because you have added space now, if they impute another heading, let's say quantity. I don't know if they have quantity. Okay, let's say quantity. Once you switch to your report sheet, it will be updating automatically. I don't know if I've answered your question, ma.
Yes, yes.
All right, thank you.
Here to confirm that it's possible here.
Yes, it's possible. So, Mrs. Mercy, Mr. Alfred.
He said we can continue. There's having a network challenge. Yes, it's having a network issues. We can continue.
Mrs. Mercy, if you can hear me, Alpha with Mr. Alfred.
Hello, sir. Yeah, I just spoke with him now. He says he's having a network challenge that we can continue.
Okay, all right. Thank you. All right, so we have one more thing to do under data wrangling. Remember, all these processes are just to perfect our data. So the next thing I want to find out, there's another question that we need to ask. And the question is, how many records are in this data set? Because now you have answered the question of how many columns. Now you need to know, before you start your analysis, how many records are here. You are not supposed to be counting manually, 1, 2. So you should be able to know how to count to know. So let's go there to ask the question. Now, I want to show us something very interesting here. After taking your time to develop, to design your question, writing formats. Somebody have a message here. Okay, thank you very much. After taking your time to design this format, if you want to start now, there is no need for you to say question 2. You will now start formatting with the background color with the same appearance. What you simply do is this. just highlight the whole of this without the cell with the function, with the query function. Now, just autofill, just drag it like this. You have just duplicated it. You have just duplicated it. Now, I want to drag this one down. If I don't want to drag, I don't want to duplicate now. I want to move it down because I want space. Now that you have duplicated it, you will just, this one has already aligned. This has given it what? Question 2 automatically. Now here you have to change your question description. What is the question is how many record, not how many column. So select the cell and then edit here. There is no point of you deleting because there's still part of this question that I need. For example, I still need how many. So I will just highlight this section and leave the question mark and say how many what? Records. How many records? Not correct spelling. How many records in the data set? It's a question. So that also involves counting. So I'll do the same thing that we did now. Count. So this time around, I'm going to use count. But since I'm going to use count, I will use a column with numbers. So I'll double click to complete it, then switch back to my data. Since I'm using count, I cannot use any other data type outside. I can't use here to specify the range of the counting, but I can use total profit value because these are integer. These are float number, these are numbers. I can use any of them. Why? Because the numbers of record you have under each of the columns should be the same. So if I count here and I have certain number, I should be rest assured that the same number I will have what gotten if I have to implement it here. So I will just choose this one to continue. Now, how do I select everything in that column, just like the way we selected horizontally? You hold down the control button, the shift, and press the down arrow button. Now, this one stops exactly where the record stopped. To avoid the question she asked, if by tomorrow they enter more information, how would they be captured? While you are still holding down the control and the shift, you hit the down arrow button again. It will select everything, all the cells, both the engaged and the ones that does not have value in that column, and then I press enter. So I have 100. So if by tomorrow there is need, there is additional record, so let me just enter additional record. So let me just select this and then duplicate it. And then let's go back to our report. You see that what? It has updated it. So that is the second question. Now, I want us to know we are using one stone to kill two birds. What we are doing now, our primary intention is not actually analysis, it's data wrangling, which falls under understanding your data, expecting certain things, because what data we are expecting, but at the same time, they are asking valid questions. So why are you doing this? You are expecting the data to know the numbers of questions to be involved. Now, let me say this. How do you build your clients as a data analyst? Say this is training and mentorship. How do you build your clients? Because some of us, we need to know how to charge. It's not just having IT skill. There are a lot of people there that have IT skill. They don't know how to charge. And you are learning it because you want to make money. If you are a contract analyst, not full-time analyst in an organization, your charges should be based on how many columns in that data set and how many records. So what we have done is we help you to have this information. So it means that if I am negotiating and I am asked how much will it cost us for you to analyze our data, I will not be in hurry to mention any amount. Instead, I am going to ask them certain questions. Questions like, I would like to have the data set so that I can measure the length and the height. And how do you measure the length and the height of your data is what we just did now. When we deploy this skill, we measure the length. When we deploy this skill, we measure the height. Because in that last class, I said, you knowing the number of headers measures the width of that data. You knowing the numbers of records measures the height of that data. Now, the number of insights you are going to draw from a data set with 2 headings is different from the number of insights you are going to draw when you are using a data set like this one that have up to 14 headers. So which means, let me just show you what I'm saying. Which means there are possibility of asking me questions like, the company might want to know, these are unique country, and transactions happen across this country. And at some point, the country were repeated during the transaction. So I can be asked, the company may want to know the profit generated per these unique countries. That is, you are to summarize all the values you have here based on the unique countries. For example, if I call out Australia and Oceania, I should be able to tell them the total profits generated in this entire data set for only that country. Now, that is one question. That is because this data set has a header called total profit. That is why that question will arise. Now, let me come here. This is where they recorded total costs. Total costs. So this is like, this could be a production inventory or both sales and inventory or purchase inventory. Now here, this is where they track total cost. You can also be asked that same question, but this time around, they want to have an idea of how much it costs them to produce a particular product for that country. That is because this header is in the data set. Now let's look at total revenue. They can also ask you that same question, how many to analyze the total revenue generated per country. That is because you have total revenue. Let's assume that I highlight these 2 headers like this and I delete them. Right click and select what? Delete. Do you think that those questions will still be arise? Somebody should answer me.
Yes.
The questions will not arise. So which means that what? The numbers of headers in your data set and the record in that data set will determine how we determine the number of insights you are expected to derive from the data for influencing their decision making. That is the essence of what we have done so far, so that we have an idea of, okay, now I know that there's possibility of me answering minimum of 10 questions from this data, which we are going to look at in the next class. So the next class is a class you must not miss. Do everything possible to make sure that you join that section, because I am going to end it here because of our time. And then the next class, we will start analysis, where we'll be answering some of those questions that are highlighted. You check our slide here, you see we are going to be what? deploying this, and that is where we are going to be using the sum if, the count if, the average if. You will see in the field of data analysis how you can leverage on this function, how you can twist these functions to answer some of those questions or valid analysis question in your data. So this is where we draw the curtain. So what we are able to achieve today is how to use the count function to ask certain or to answer certain question in our data set. Do we have question? Any question, please, so that we can end the class? I believe some of us have things we want to do. So I would like to end it here. Any question?
I don't have any.
Okay, so let's assume there's no question. So what is your assignment? So those we are going to be doing a lot of assignment. Okay, Mr. Innocent, you want to say something?
No.
Okay, there's no question. Okay, so your assignment is to get another data set and perform this inspection that we did. So what we are going to do is that you should create your reporting sheet and perform and answer these questions again on that data set, because I believe you are going to get different results. So that is your assignment. Is that clear, please?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, Mrs. Mercy, I want to make you a coordinator of this class. And what you have to do for me is to make sure that you remind everybody on Friday evening for them to prepare for the class. Please, every Friday evening, make sure you drop a notification, a reminding notification in the WhatsApp group, reminding everybody to prepare for tomorrow class, and also stating or reminding them of their assignments. Please, I will appreciate that.
Okay, boss.
All right. So good night, everyone. I believe we had a good session. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night, all. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Bye.